Hello and welcome. Let's see, looking a little. Well, everything's up. All right. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Let's get on to and do Instagram, and then we'll go from there. And I might. There we go. So, welcome. Just waiting a few seconds here, getting everybody on board. So, as we are waiting. Hello, hello, hello. So, welcome everybody. And thank you for joining me from the laundry room. Yes, I'm in the laundry room as per usual, but that's okay. I'm finding it very kind of like, I don't know, trendy. I'm coming to you from the laundry room. I feel like it's like very a trendy thing to be doing, coming to you from the laundry room. Here I am. So, hey, today Mercury has gone retrograde. So, are you ready? Are you prepared for all of this? Mercury retrograde. We have Neptune and Saturn retrograde in Aries. We have Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, and then Mercury retrograde in lovely Leo. So, are you ready for all of this? Well, if you're wondering why, there is a lot to do. I mean, the weather wise, things are crazy. Neptune definitely has a lot to do with the weather. We also have, with Uranus and disruptions when it comes to the land, earthquakes, everything coming from an earth sign into an air sign. Gemini trying to feel things out, really winding things over. Uh, all of these cycles are anywhere from 84 to 264-year cycles. 204, yeah, 200, not 64, 200, like 45-year cycles from Pluto to Saturn. And Saturn and Neptune are like a 6,000-year cycle, like for them to be in Aries at this time. So we are in these crazy radical energies and radical times, and it is causing a lot of disruption. People are finding it very, trying to find your grip, trying to navigate your way through all of this, and it's shaking many people up. And I've had a lot of the clients coming to me about either through depression, anxiety, um, even crazy things of negative things happening within the family, or negative energies coming into their family and they can't explain why, or being tempted, younger ones being tempted to do things that um, and causing more chaos and havoc into the family. So those types of energies are out there as well. But with all of this and how I see it and how I'm, channeling a lot of the energies, it is a divine plan, definitely a divine plan on awakening, on getting us to really begin to look at things, begin to um feel the shit out, man. This is where, with Mercury, just saying with Mercury, right? We're used to Mercury. Mercury goes retrograde every three to four times a year. So with Mercury coming into Leo, we're revisiting themes around our voice, expression, identity, our pride, heart-centered leadership. This is going to be cueing internal monologues. This is going to be creative re-edits and a bit of drama buzzed frustration. So we have a lot of frustration that could be coming in. You might be feeling it. You might have been feeling it yesterday. Yesterday was a little bit like bitchy. Let's just put it simply, bitchy, and feeling that bitchiness. With the Saturn and Neptune in retrograde in Aries and heading back into Pisces, and will conjunct in February of 20th next year. That's a we'll get into that, another time. But I have a whole series on that too. We are being asked to redream and rediscipline. What is it? I mean, Neptune is the dream god. Saturn is what is it that you want to create and put into a discipline, right? Saturn loves discipline. Saturn, this is the way we do it. This is how we do it. And don't, you know, go off the beaten track kind of thing. So old patterns of escapism, being the martyr or victimhood are being tested as Saturn is really demanding spiritual clarity. And that's a huge one. In our world today and in our society, we are witnessing a holy war. And we are witnessing how certain people in charge of religions are wanting us to feel, think, be a certain way. And here is Saturn coming in and saying, what are your structures in your life and what is your connection with your divine? How does that work? How does that look like? And this is getting into becoming your spiritual clarity. And the fact that both are hovering from Aries to Pisces threshold makes it, I'm going to say, the identity meets disillusion and the soul level resets. So we are definitely trying to reset things. Things are going to be revisited. I mean, we're seeing it. The Epstein lists are coming up. Things are coming up that we thought we were done with. Look at everything that's happening within the Canadian government. Well, things from even days old, from King George III, are coming up on sovereignty, on identification. All of that is being tried and tested. We are seeing in Spain right now huge riots, right? People are uprising. They're really going up against a system, and it's a system that's been there for like 300 years. And they're really testing this system because the part of the revolt has to do with Islam. Islam they had Spain for a number of years. I mean, you go around, you can see it in the architecture and everything. So there's now this power struggle that's coming in, and we're witnessing it. And that power struggle is also within inside of us. How are we feeling it? How are you addressing it? Or are you doing a spiritual bypass with it? Because that's one thing we do not want you to do, is do a spiritual bypass. We need you to feel it. You got to sit in the ooey gooey messy shit. And that's what Saturn and Neptune does. And then Mercury comes in with his little buzzy stuff in Leo. And it's like, how do I come out with this? How do I express myself? I want to be nice to everybody, but right now I don't want to be nice to everybody. I don't feel it. Identifying it, right? Because this is a soul level reset, and that's what we're on. We are coming into an identification of what is truth. And here we have with Pluto in Aquarius, which is um the collective, and coming in, and Pluto is one that he just like, I mean, this is the death and resurrection, right? So he just comes in and he just like puts his hand into all the icky wicky gook and pulls it all out and says, hey, have you looked at this shit lately in the collective? Have you looked at all your other crap in the collective? This is why we're finding out more about things to do with children. We are finding out more things of what some of these elites are up to. Right? So the collective shadow continues its excavation, and the power structure of tech companies, governments, and even outline our identities are under deep review. And the future is literally being rewritten. We are rewriting everything of how we want things done, how we want to be treated, right down to even with women. Women are now coming back into a place, it's a slow one, of, you know what? And I've found this with many, especially women who've been working in corporate for so long. And, they might be in their 40s now. And, sitting there counseling them, because I do soul counseling, and setting up and different structures for them. Anyways, one of the things I've been finding out is how they regret spending so much time on building a career and not spending the time that they would like to have spent on building relationships, on building some kind of structure, family, the meaning of family, but how they felt so guilty about doing that because the way society has put it, right? Has put the whole sexual revolution from the 60s and the identification of what, how women are to be and how they're supposed to act and get out there and you can have it all, right? And now we are finding that many are going through huge depressions, who are going through a lot of regret and of the choices that they've made within their life and are looking at this. And this is what happens, especially when you step into the crone. So when you come into the crone and you step into that energy, you come into this like a threshold of new identity of oneself and starting to look at everything and saying, okay, you know what, I know I could have made better choices. And it's, yes, it's to look at those choices you made in the past and now, how can I redefine my future? How can I step into something new? That's what Pluto wants. Pluto doesn't kill you. And that's what I've said many times. Pluto doesn't kill you. The one who's going to kill you is Saturn. Saturn is the one that when you look at where he is in your chart and who's he coming up to and where what's that connections, because Saturn's the one who is going to basically take you down a road and drag you through it, and if it kills you, it kills you. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? That's the way that's the way Saturn is. Pluto is like, I want to help you. I'm going to test you. I want to bring this to I want you to see what's going on. And I'm going to test you again. And I'm going to test you again until we can work this up. And when you do, it's amazing how you can rise from it and he will give you rewards. Now we have the moon today, and the moon is still in Aries, and it's coming up to Chiron in Aries. Yeah. So wounds, this is visibility, um, worth, abandonment, the fight to be heard. I mean, Eris is not exactly, a cuddly little goddess per se that you really want to cuddle up with. I mean, she is the one who fights for the underdog. She's the one who is really, she started the Trojan War because she wasn't invited to a wedding. I mean, she's got a little bit of issues there. She is related to Mars. I think that's Mars's sister. So there is a little bit of angst with her. And Eris makes sure everyone's trigger gets pushed. And that's what you're going to be finding over this next week, going into the weekend. We're already at Thursday and we're going into the weekend. You're going to find a lot of things are going to get triggered. A lot more people are going to get feeling like, there's a lot going on here. And things are going to start bubbling up. So there's generational rage bubbling up at this time. And we're seeing it with the millennials, you're seeing it with the Zoomers, and they're all mad at the baby boomers. And then comes the Gen X's, are like, what the fuck's your problem? Just get on with your life. you know, and the baby boomers are just, I mean, they were born with that Pluto and Leo. So they're born, this is their opposition, right? With the Pluto and Aquarius. So they're born with this energy of, if they're still around, of chaos, of wanting to create something, wanting to create um a gathering, wanting to create a connection, wanting to have that feeling of like a party, right? Because I mean, when Pluto is in Aquarius, it's not a party sign, really. It's a sign of looking at your responsibility, of looking at your humanity, and how does that, what does that structure look like, and how we are going to be restructuring the world around us and moving from what was into something new, and how are we going to be creating that newness. This is the time when you had the French Revolution, you had the Russian you know, revolution starting. You had the American Revolution at this time too. So Pluto in Aquarius is really looking at a re-identification of how we look at society and how we fit within that society and how we want that society to be. Whew, crazy, crazy times we're in. And with that Uranus, I mean, we can't leave out, Mr. Crazy Uncle, right? We can't leave him out because he's shaking the very ground we stand on. And talk through, expect literal and energetic quakes. So this is Uranus is agitating the air, the wind, your nervous system, communication, and with Neptune retrograde, water and air, chaotic flow. So you're going to find a lot of things. Think of floods. Think of what just happened in New York, the flooding in New York, misinformation storms. Right there's strange weather patterns will be coming in. Earthquakes off. Just had a 7.2 earthquake off the shore of Alaska. We're seeing crazy things happening with what they're calling a migration. All the animals are leaving Yellowstone Park. And, you know, a lot of naturalists and people who work in that industry are just like, okay, this is not normal. Yes, there is migration, but you don't see migration like this. This is not normal. But they don't want to freak anybody out. So they're just calling, oh, the animals are just migrating to somewhere different. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah, yeah, that's what they're doing. Okay. So they know something out. Animals have that sense, right? So we have that all flowing up and going through us. And with that, we have the sun that's in Cancer. It's going to be there just what's today, a few more days, and then it's going into Leo. This is about the emotional structure and our family focus and what we're clinging to safety while everything changes around us. So things that we want to keep normalize, right? We're trying to hang on to all that normalcy. Well, the hand of God is coming in and saying, sorry, that doesn't work anymore. That's not how we're going to do anything anymore. So we are in soul grounded energy, right? And one of my jobs I feel that I've been called to is to help to guide people, give them that guidance. And that's why here it comes. I got a soul package, which sounds like it's a divine support. So, my soul package, this is where I'm wanting to create a sanctuary hour each day. This is non negotiable. This is something that I feel you need to start up now. It's non negotiable. You mute the world, the phone, the noise, the news, whatever it is, the journaling, pray, hum, cry, stare into the void. Allow this. When you get up in the morning, don't look at the phone. If it's your alarm, just turn it off. Allow yourself to come through and into your day, right? Enter into your day without the noise of the outside world. Have a salt bath. If you can't get into your bath, you don't have a bath, get a salt scrub. Allow yourself to bring in some rose tea and some grounding rituals, right? Bringing in that grounding. Yesterday, when I picked up Mateus after football, it was we had to wait for Olivia because I took the bus there, so we waited for her to pick us up. And anybody who doesn't know, Olivia is my daughter, Mateus's mom. So, anyways, we're sitting there. You know what I did? Like he just like, Mama, did you bring the other phone? Can I look at the phone? I said, no, I didn't bring the other phone. And no, you're not going to use my phone. I said, so we turned off the phone. So here we are lying on the grass waiting for her. And I told him, let's pick out, let's do cloud watching. You know how many dragons were in the sky yesterday? It was phenomenal. Oh my God. And dragons in the sky are good luck. Like you see those dragons, they are bringing something there, right? And so, yeah, we started to do cloud watching and getting him just to look at things, look at nature, right? And yeah, of course, he thought his mama is weird, but he already knows I'm weird, so it's all good. But this is where it's like, let's sit on the grass, let's just lay back, let's just allow us to embrace and do that grounding. After being Little Miss Grumpy and doing that yesterday, that was absolutely fabulous. Just laying on the grass as we waited, cloud watching. Loved it. And I kept on saying, I said, "Look at the ripples." And he didn't know what a ripple was. And I'm like, "You don't know what a ripple is? How do I explain a ripple?" Like, because he's not around water, right? He's not around water. So I had to explain what a ripple was to him. And I said, "Look at those clouds. You see how those sort of rigid, the clouds were kind of rigid in the sky yesterday. Um, there was a lot of other planes in the air that were causing a lot of these ripples. But anyways, there's ripples in the air. So we're looking at that. It was beautiful. It was nice. So taking some time to do some grounding when you can. And with Mercury in retrograde in Leo, this is reread your old journals. What did you once love, right? That you have forgotten, and reclaiming your voice, especially if you've been silenced. Rethink your role as a leader, healer, and teacher. Whew, right? And if you may not think that's what you are, but maybe you are within your family. And what does that look like? So, taking a good look at what is it that I want to do? What is the direction I'd like to go into? And don't try and fix shit right now. All right. This is where you have to feel it. I know. Okay. Any air signs out there? I know. Yeah, you're like, but I'm thinking about it. Bring it into your body, right? My water signs. Oh, I don't want to feel that. I'll spiritual bypass it. No, we don't want to do the spiritual bypassing either. We want to feel it. This is with the moon and Chiron and Aries, all dancing in Aries. And we are not meant to solve everything right now. Whew, that's a big one. Not solving everything right now. You don't have to have an answer. And that's the whole thing. It's that we always want an answer. Let the fire of anger rise and give it a sacred container. Allow it to come up and just, yes. And the thing is, what I found through my experience and counseling is that usually people know why they're angry, but they just don't want to admit it. Because you're never angry about the reasons why you're angry or why you're lashing out. So give it a container, give it a color, give it a smell, right? Name it. You want to name it? This is Herbert the Anger. Okay, Herbert the Anger, you're going into this jar. There you go, Herbert. I don't need to, you know what? I understand. And I know you need a voice right now, Herbert. Let's talk. So you can have a conversation with Herbert because you just named him. All right. Sounds crazy, but it does help. Validate what's being long denied or ignored. Yeah. So, what have you been feeling that you've been ignored about? Maybe it's you've been in a marriage for a long time and you haven't hugged. You haven't hugged. You haven't touched each other. You might go to bed with each other, but you haven't really touched. Come back into that, right? Touch the hand, compliment, sit beside the person, and let grief and rage coexist without shame. There might be something there that you are very sad about that you wished could have gone or you wished would have been differently, but it wasn't. And so you have to allow that to come up and grieve it. There could be decisions that you made in the past that you now regret, and that's perfectly okay. We all do, right? We shoulda, coulda, woulda, but this is a time to say, okay, now I can let this shit go, right? I gotta let this shit go. Justice. Justice, yeah. And forgiveness with the justice. Hmm, right? Coming into the forgiveness, so you're not hanging on to whatever that is, right? It's not saying that you're not gonna get the justice, but you can relieve it. Funny because 'cause I'm working with jars right now, and you just said that, and I'm frustrated that I'm not working that it's not working. Woo. So, use Uranus in Gemini says, and this is what they say, think differently, speak differently, learn something your ancestors were denied. Astrology, tarot, storytelling, herbalism, sovereignty. Mm, systematic racism, awful to go through. Yeah, it is. It is. And that's the whole thing. That's what we are looking at in our lives and in our society, right? And wanting to move forward instead of hanging on to everything, right? And the divine's coming in and saying, take the trailer park off, step into your light. Yeah, are there assholes out there? Loads. We're seeing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing it everywhere. And the thing is that sometimes people get so raged that they are not coming back and stepping back and seeing truth and coming into truth. And that's the other part too. So here we come into a sacred rebellion where we are thinking differently, speaking differently. And sometimes you just can't change people's minds. Sometimes people just don't like what you say. They don't like what you're doing. They don't like the way you look. Send them away with love and light. There you go. And with Neptune and Pluto, it's time, time's going to feel like a dream soup. That's what I'm calling it, a dream soup. So anchor into breath, ritual, nature cycles, music, and prayer. Put mantras on, right? Cleanse, clear, that mantra, cleanse and clear, right? This is where, you step into that. People who are wanting to hear you or need to hear what you are saying, the divine will bring them to your table, and they will eat what they need to eat. They will partake in what they need to partake in, and then move on. Come into a place where you are able to, like, take the deep breaths and breathe. Allow that breath work to come in and release what you need to release. If you need to bury something, like something you wrote out, not somebody, just saying, allow for that releasement. Allow for that. Okay? Come into the cycles. We are going into a new moon. New moon in Leo is going to be coming up. Oh, that is sacredness. Sacredness, right? Charlene caught that. As I got my little thing, it says, think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. Write a letter to yourself. Ask her, him, they, what did I need to remember during this chaotic season? What did I finally let go of? And how do I rise from the ashes with grace? And you may not have answers to these questions, right? And that's okay. But just taking that time and just allowing, right? Taking that time and allowing and hearing and feeling and just be. And you might, the thing is that you're asking these questions and then all of a sudden you get the answer when you're driving in the car. And then you stop at a stoplight and the answers come. And you're like, what? Oh my God, that's how can I rise to grace. That's how I rise out of the ashes. Okay. And so I always keep a pen and a little notebook with me because that's when information comes to me. It's either I'm driving the car, come to a stoplight, information happens. And you're just like, okay, why are you giving me this download now? you know? So I can like maybe scribble things down a little bit, or I pull over to the side and write things down as they're coming when I can. So there is this beautiful energetic energy that's coming in for us to really work with and to create something new. And don't deny any information that's coming in right now that is opening you up to create something new, right? It might sound nutters, but it's allowing it. Now, one of the things that has come to me, and that's my soul packaging. And it's offering, you know, a soul package and plus a one-on-one reading of the divine feminine. And this is, especially feeling overwhelmed by the cosmic chaos. And where as we go into the Leo season, and then as we go into the middle, get into August and going into the energies into late August and into September, that's when we're going to be transitioning into some really um, more of the thicker craziness of the astral weather. And so I have a soul package, and the soul package is, with everything stirring and the sacred storms that are happening, but you don't have to weather it alone. And that's what I want to do. I want to bring people together. So with this soul package is that I'm adding for $500. It's like an over $800 package if people wanted to do it separate. I'm adding the fall and winter sacred series, the Crone wisdom, and a one-on-one of the sacred feminism for $500. And I'm doing that to create, community, to create a buzz, to get people to come together and work through the fall. So you're going to be working with, in the fall and in the winter with me. You're also going to be able to step in and do the Crone Wisdom uh, workshop with me, which is 8 weeks, and stepping into that frequencies of how we are able to stay in ritual, in prayer, in meditation as we go forward. Because this is a big time of redefining who we are, and it comes really down to our spiritual essence and stepping into that spiritual frequency. And I feel with all of the everything that's being bombarded with us, one of the things that I have been visualizing or really seeing is that it's not doom and gloom. When we step into that spiritual alignment, that divineness, everything that is negative or evil begins to fall away because they have nothing to grab onto. Because you're stepping out of the fear, you're stepping out of all of the all of the craziness, and that's what you start to do. You start to step into something that is more of an alignment, more of beauty for oneself. So I'm offering the soul package out there, and with that you have that one-on-one reading with me, and it is the solar arc divine feminine reading, and it is accurate, it is beautiful, and there's a lot of information you get. It's about an hour to an hour and a half reading, um, and you get a PDF. And with that, you also get a tarot reading along with that as well. So, yeah, so that's what I'm offering for people. And I'm putting it up. I'm going to offer it for us until probably the middle of August. I'm going to have this on, might end sooner. We'll see. But right now, that's what I have. So, offering that out for people. And yeah, that's where we're at, baby. It's a crazy cosmic highway right now. And it's riding through the cosmos, honestly, and that's what we're doing. We're riding through the cosmos. We're riding through some pretty heavy terrain, and especially with this retrograde season. So right now we have 4 planets retrograde, and then Uranus will be going retrograde. That'll be 5 planets, mainly the outer planets, and the outer planets have to do with our subconscious. So when we are wanting to rewrite something, when we are wanting to work with something, it's really important for us to understand what our subconscious is and how and what we are going through with our subconscious and how we think, how we act, um, how we're programmed, right? And that's the thing is many times we don't realize how programmed we are. Right down to how do you when somebody asks you, "How are you?" And you're like, "Yeah, oh, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, just been a bit busy and stuff." Very scripted. We're very scripted in how we speak and how we come together and interact. And this is where we want to come in and begin to clear some of that away. I'm not saying it's all bad, but to clear some of that away so we can allow for the new downloads, to allow for the newness to come in with us and create connections that are needed. So that's where I'm at, and so bringing you the this new alignment is allowing for us to come into a beautiful soulfulness as we step forward into a um, a new astrological season with Leo, and also adding into a sacredness as we are going forward into the fall. I know it's only July 17th, but yeah, things are creeping up pretty fast, and so we want to get prepared. Payment plans are available for people. I know everybody doesn't have $500 sitting around in their bank account. If you do, that's probably, more for your savings. So if you are wanting to do a payment plan with me, definitely let me know. If you want to pay by Mastercard, Visa, I have a link for that, and I can get you the link, and you could pay for it that way. Or if you want a link to just set up payment plans, we can do that as well. So, anyways, there we go. Or e-transfer. Looking outside. I know it's a nasty, nasty day today. Here in Calgary, anyways. So, um, sending you guys out so much love. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please, 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 hit me up. Ask some questions, and let's get a conversation going. Yes. So, the Guru Mama from the laundry room is saying goodbye. Have a blessed one, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all that you say, and all you be, and all you do. Have a blessed one, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.